His friends take some put tzedakah, put it in the pushka, and in honor of this Shabbat, which is the 11th day of month of Cheshvan, which is the yahrzeit of Rochel Imenu, our matriarch, our mother Rochel. I want to share with you some of the history of that famous tomb of Rochel. As we all know, Rochel is buried on the side of the road, Bethlehem, not the Maras HaMachpelah. Let me give you a little bit of historical background to this unusual burial. When Yaakov was bringing his family home to Hebron, after spending 20 years working for his father-in-law in Haran, so while they were traveling, Rachel gave birth to her second son, Binyamin, and unfortunately she died at childbirth. So instead of bringing her to Hebron, he buried her right there on the spot. He didn't even bring her into the city. And Yaakov erected a monument. Then all the 11 tribes, obviously Binyamin as an infant couldn't do it, they all put a stone on top of that monument, and Yaakov put one on top of all of them. And actually, apparently, this is the reason for the custom that whenever we go to a cave, we put a stone on it to remind us of how they put a stone on Rachel's tomb. The Medrash tells us that the first person to pray at her tomb was actually her son Yosef. When he was sold into slavery at the age of 17, and he was being carried forcibly to Egypt, at one moment he broke away from his captors and he ran to his mother's grave and he prayed there, says, "Mother, save me." And the Medrash says that Yosef heard a voice, "Don't fear, go with them and God will be with you." For all these years, Rochel's tomb was marked by a tiny dome upheld by 4 beams. Then in 1841, Sir Moses Montefiore was extremely devoted to the Yishuv to Eretz Yisrael and did an awful lot for the restoration of Israeli sites, etc., Jewish sites in Israel, together with his wife, who unfortunately was also childless. They added walls to the dome and he added a big large room, a welcoming center for people who would come and pray, because people constantly came to pray over there. They should have a place with the rest and so on. In 1948, when the Jordanians took control of the area, Jews were no longer permitted to go to this tomb. In fact, they built the larger city of Bethlehem, of Beis Lechem, and then Cave Rochel became part of the center of the city. But after the miraculous war of the 60 War, when Eretz Yisrael miraculously freed all these lands from Palestinian hands, for the next 30 years, there was a constant flow of people going to pray by Rachel's cave. Unfortunately, due to Intifada, with all kinds of, without going into political discussions, because of Israeli governments, it became like a fortress, built around like a fortress. You need special permission to go in and so on. Interesting little historical fact. When Moses Montefiore remodeled the tomb, the iron lock on the door was made with unique keys. These keys were said to help with difficult childbirths. Laboring women, both Jews and Arabs, would put them under their pillows. And then in 1967, when it was liberated, an Arab came over to Chief Rabbi of Israel, Rabbi Goren, and gave him one of those keys. Apparently, it is still there with the family. Someone by the name of Chaim Silberstein, as far as I know, relationship to me, tells the following story. When Rabin was Prime Minister and he was handing out gifts to the Palestinians, it was slated to come under Area A, which was called under the control of the Arab Palestinian rule. Rabbi Menachem Porush and the Knesset member Chanan Porat went to Rabin, beg him not to do that. Chanan Porat was explaining, and then Rabin realized that Rabbi Porush is just bitterly crying. And he says, what's the matter? He says, Rochel, our mother, she is our mother. How can you give away your mother to your enemies? It had the effect, and it stayed within Eretz Yisrael. But now we ask the Eibishter, it says that Rochel is the one who is praying for us to come out of Golus. Hopefully this will be still before this Shabbos. Good Shabbos.